Hello, 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 everybody.
Order filled.
How are we doing this evening? I'm sorry, it's not the evening. It's the morning. It's the afternoon. It depends on where you are. It's the afternoon for me. We're watching the Qs. We're watching the SPY. We're watching everything that's going on today. What are you guys watching? Say hello. Who's here? Did everybody have a good weekend? Come and say hello to me, friends. I hope you guys are all doing really good. Hope you guys had a good weekend. I see some folks here. Say hello. Don't be shy. Pretty nasty little sell-off this morning. Trying to regain what they lost. So far it's working. What's up, Lloyd? How's it going, bub? Are you doing well today? Half considering a trade here on the Qs. And the reason why is SPY came back to its open. Not its open, but its high of day. And the Qs haven't been able to get there. Definitely lagging. But I just wonder if they try and hold it here and make another move for a new relative high. Lloyd, you're doing well. I'm glad to hear that. What were you trading today, Lloyd? What's up, MP? How are you? Hope you're well. Ooh, my dogs are barking in the background. Hopefully it's not too bad for you. What's up, Cheyenne? Thoughts on Amazon? Let's take a look. It's kind of looking quite like the Qs this morning, at least. So this was my general
Order filled.
This is the way I was looking at Amazon. I talked with Jay Trader. I don't know if any of you guys follow him, but he and I were talking the other day on one of his streams, and this was kind of my thinking about Amazon. I kind of have these three levels here. The green line was kind of my buy level. The red line was kind of the middle, and then my blue line here was kind of my short level or my sell level, depending on where I got my buy. They keep coming down into this 102.73 level, and I would be continuing to buy it there. Right now, just near term here, we've made a lower high relative to the June 27th high. So it's something to be mindful of. Doesn't necessarily mean that we won't continue here. But I would be, it's kind of a tricky spot. I wanted to see this red line hold, just this middle area. Kind of want to see this hold. They've had a hard time doing it. They couldn't hold it here. They couldn't hold it here. They couldn't hold it here. Can they hold it here? Maybe. That would be interesting to see. That would be a change of kind of the norm, wouldn't it? So, I was kind of looking at pullbacks to green or even red as potential buy opportunities. But kind of my high end of the spectrum, at least near term here, was somewhere in this world, was somewhere in like the 118 to kind of 123, 124 area. You got the anchored VWAP off those near term highs. We've got, that's at 123. So that might be a spot where they try and bring it to. That would make some sense find some resistance kind of at these previous highs here, the May highs, the June highs, come back into those and maybe find some resistance there. You've got earnings on July 28th. Let's see if there's anything interesting on the unusual options side. Looks like $4.2 million in the money trade came in today. 120 puts for August 19th. So that's kind of interesting. Let's see if there's anything else there. Brings down a little bit. Yeah, I mean, that's the biggest order we've got recently for the 120 puts, August 19th. A $4.2 million order. Not a huge amount of the open interest there, but interesting nonetheless. So yeah, that would be my idea. I would be, you know, if we see a move on Amazon back up to 120 or so, 122, I would be probably trying to get short there. Or if I were long, I'd be taking profits up there. It was a nasty open, Lloyd, that's for sure. Cajun, what's up, my man? Hesitant to buy Amazon until we get the Amazon sales prime numbers. Yeah, reasonable. What's up, Robert? Good to have you back. Chewy, the dollar. I didn't look at it today. My God. Insane. Ripping. Absolutely ripping. You got to figure this thing's going to cool off. I know that the euro dollar, 20-year lows, down to $1. Crazy. Last time I was in Europe, it was probably like buck 50. We have not seen this level on the euro dollar since October 2002. Totally wild. You would kind of expect some sort of reaction around here, though. 99 cents. Michael, what's up, my man? That's a good question. You know, I'm not really sure. I have to be honest with you. I'm not. Natural gas has always scared the crap out of me. I've never really been willing to trade it myself. Or, you know, like maybe I traded it a few times when I was quite younger and didn't know what the heck I was doing. And I learned that lesson real quick. You got to be real careful if you're trading natural gas, because it is just tricky. Let's just see what the futures chart looks like. I do not know the players in this space, unfortunately. Pretty nice little move yesterday, or rather last week. I guess it was last Thursday. PLRX. What's up with PLRX? Man, Robert, you are all over these little weird small cap movers. Huge day. Wow. Opened up 100%, or damn near 100%. Holding daily VWAP. That's what you want to see. Looks pretty strong. Could maybe make another move. What's the monthly look like? Ooh. Yep. Coming into this area here. It's going to be a problem for it for sure. 100% chance that's going to be problematic for it getting into all of that price action from 2020. Looks like anchored VWAP from IPO is at 1759, another level of interest at the very least. Let's see where that 1759 level, if it came into play today. Almost. They tried to run it back into. It's like, yeah, 1759. This is the anchored VWAP from IPO. Look at them. When they came back, pulled it back. They pulled it back within 20 cents. Wild. It's awesome, Robert. Good for you, man. Stoked for you. Let's check out Cigna. I've been watching this for a long time. I drew these lines a long time ago. Yeah, so making new all-time highs this week, or I guess this month, rather. Here's your all-time high. Oh, actually, I take that back. Looks like all-time high. Previous all-time high was a couple months ago. Just gonna bring it down to the 15-minute here. I would anticipate they got to come back and test this maybe. Still making new highs on the day though, so who knows? Could take some time for them to do that. Yeah, I just have such a hard time buying charts like this. I would so much rather buy if it came back in. Maybe come back to here or in here. The past couple of days move. There's been no real tests back. So I would be trying to buy it on some weakness, maybe somewhere around in here. Maybe that would align with an anchored VWAP or something. Here's your anchored VWAP from the near-term lows, June 14th. It's at 261. Let's check and see like where your 200 SMA is. 200 SMA way below. This thing's pretty extended, but from the 200. From the 200. But it looks like it can get that way. Did it here. Definitely interesting. A BRB. Is that a be right back? Is that a Scott Redler? I feel like that's a Scott Redler term, the BRB. And is that what it stands for? Be right back. Lee Javier, what's up, man? Breakout, retest, bounce. Okay, that works. Let's see. Lee. Yikes. Extended. Yeah, this is one we've been watching here. So this is the weekly on it. So you have the kind of in here, that's going to be problematic, clearly. You have your all-time high 47. Let's go down to the daily and kind of see where some of the moving averages are. 50-day is down at 28 3/4. 200-day, same place. You got 50 crossing up on 200. Last time it did that, right here, you went sideways for quite a while. I mean, it would not surprise me to see it give back some of this, do a little back testing. You've got multiple gaps. Gap here at 34.5, a gap here at 32.5, a gap here at 30.5. Big gap, 26, between 26, 27.5. Wouldn't surprise me to see some of that come back. You've got through here these previous highs that we've gotten above. We got the retest. We got the bounce. We did not make a new high. So my thinking on this would be to watch in here. Watch if they hold this low. I'm going to do an anchored VWAP from these near-term lows. Watch if they hold this low. If they fail this low, then watch what they do. You know, maybe you get some sort of bounce and then a move down, something like that. It's kind of where my head would be at on it. Of course, above here, then you can get a continuation if you can make a new high. It's kind of where my head would be. But that's just me. A lot of the China names like Baba, we were talking about this on Benzinga this morning. Baba, gap down, 8% gap down. Trading down almost 10% from Friday's close, 9.4. That's ugly. But we were talking about it last week. We were saying these guys were all coming into kind of areas of potential resistance. K-Web was lagging, right? We had this, we talked about in here, you know, and how it was kind of a tough place to be buying with, you had the 200 moving average right there around 36. We were talking about if they get up into that, then look for the pullback and then make a move, catching a, maybe trying to catch a bid here on the 50 SMA. EQT. Interesting. Let's remove all this stuff. You're looking at go, no go. Those guys. I like those guys. Yeah, so weak no go on the daily. On the weekly, you're still in a weak go. You've made a new low right here. Not great. So kind of where my head would be at is I would be anchoring off of this kind of gap down here. I don't know what happened on June 13th for old EQT, but something. Actually, what does volume look like that day? I guess I could pull up news and kind of see. Yeah, so you did have an influx of volume come in, or, you know, we're having quite a few above average volume days here. Let's see if anything interesting on the unusual option side. Nothing huge. 34 puts for 19 August 19th expiry. So those are the August monthlies. 100% of the, almost 100% of the open interest. So that's kind of interesting. It's not a huge order though. So there's, you know, $77,000. Not a huge order. Let me add news here. $28 days ago, June 13th. So June 13th, looks like Credit Suisse maintained an outperform. So I wonder what happened. Maybe one of y'all knows. Lloyd, do you know what happened on June 13th here to cause this gap down and this nasty sell-off? You've got your 200 SMA. 2862. Let's just see when we anchor from down here. Yeah, so you've got your kind of like your trend start lows. Anchored VWAP. It's trying to hold. It made a new low though, which is concerning. So to me, this is more of a short opportunity. I wouldn't short it here, but maybe kind of around in here. If we can get a move back into that like 37.5 level, I might be looking for a short op. Does that jive with highs? Sort of. Does it jive with the gap down? Yeah, it jives better with the gap down. Stop above these highs, 38. XHB. Tricky, tricky, tricky. What is this? Homebuilders. Yeah, I mean, to me, there's not a ton of room here for them. This is kind of where my head would be at. If it continues to gain, I'd be looking for a short opportunity around 61.5. Kind of where my head would be at on it. I have to assume, well, I'm not going to assume anything. Never mind. What's up with the Qs? I'm just going to... happy to keep on talking through your charts, but I'm going to keep on kind of going back into what's going on with the Qs and what's going on with the SPY. Qs breaking down below daily VWAP. Not great. Definitely want to see this stuff hold. I think they've got room though down into like 288.9. CPI is this Saturday. Oh no, I'm sorry, this Wednesday. Something to definitely be mindful of if you're playing indices. Tricky day to be playing indices. Freeport Terminal Fire. Oh, no, WTRH. Waiter Holdings. Right? Yep. So this is like a delivery. What the heck? This is a like food delivery service, right? Definitely should have some trouble here very soon, I would expect. Off of those gap down highs here. Coming up into them now, 45, 50, 45 cents, 46 cents. I mean, this volume is no joke though, that's for sure. This is really, really high relative volume. Haven't seen this much volume since October. What's the story here? Company announced a new partnership with Burke to allow deliveries from several new retail industries. What's Burke? B-U-R-Q. On demand and same day delivery. All right. There you go. I don't know. I don't really have an opinion. I mean, this thing is essentially a dumpster fire. It has proven itself to be a dumpster fire. And I would pretty strongly expect a failure here quite soon on it. Sure thing, Spanish Fly. Thanks for being here, man. I don't recognize your name. Where are you from? What brings you here today? Ricardo, what's up? How are you? Hope you're well. AMC. Which moving averages? What time frame? Daily starting to get into a strong go. That's kind of interesting. In a tricky spot, though. You guys see me do this all the time. Previous lows. Failed below. Now we're having trouble gaining them. Anchored VWAP from the high. At 16.18. Could have some trouble there for sure. my gut instinct on AMC, no matter how strong it pops, it's going back to $2.50. That's just what I think is going to happen. We'll see. Fundamentally, things may have changed, and you know, people may have new viewpoints on it, but aren't they doing a stock split or something like that? Or was that GME? Maybe that was GME. Awesome, Spanish Fly. We appreciate that. Glad to have you on the platform. How's it going for you? Is there anything on the platform that you don't really understand how to do? Do you have any questions about anything platform related that I can help with?
This is going to be such an exciting day. I hope you enjoy it. I think you will.
On AMC, you really need to see this thing make a new high relative to this guy right here. If you guys can hear my dogs, I apologize. There is somebody cleaning the windows today, and my dogs are not happy about it. But it does look pretty strong. I can't lie. It does look pretty strong.
For some moments in life, there are no words.
What else, guys? Any other charts you're looking at? Any questions about the platform? Q's failing again. Not great.
If the good Lord had intended us to walk, he wouldn't have invented roller skates.
Take a look at what's going on with SPY. Showing any relative strength. Yeah, SPY coming into an area. Not had much time. What are some new indicators that are good? Well, I guess it depends on the type of indicators that you usually use. What have we added recently that's cool? We added VWAP with standard deviation bands. This one's kind of cool. So it's a little crazy looking, but you've got your VWAP here in this orange line. So this is just your standard VWAP. You have previous day's VWAP where it closed, this blue dotted line. So you know where that is. And then you've got the standard deviations from the VWAP. And the idea here is you're looking for moves out to one of the far-reaching standard deviations, and then you're looking for pullbacks or moves back to the VWAP. What's up, SDW? How you doing? Hope you're good. So this is kind of a way, what do you call it? To play reversions. You know, if price gets extended into one of the far outer standard deviation bands, you can start thinking about price coming back into the VWAP. You see here, it got out to the second standard deviation band and reversed back. So you can even create alerts at these. Like, this is what I would do. Actually, so I have an alert set very similar to this. I use a different process, but it's the same idea. If you, when you get these kind of strong extensions away from the mean or away from the VWAP, you can create alerts on the outer bands, or just whatever band you want. Maybe like a touch bounce alert, or even a breakthrough. Really, anything would work. And then, like for something like this, I'll just max it out time-wise and trigger-wise. And so now I've got an alert on this outer standard deviation band. Anytime this alert goes off, I know that SPY in particular is super extended to the upside, and I might want to be looking for a potential short op. And then same deal, I can do that on the downside too. So right click, create alert, pick all the triggers, choose the confirmation candle, choose your expiry. I love doing stuff like this because you never know when this is going to happen. And I do tend to like to keep my charts pretty clean. Obviously, this indicator, there's kind of a lot going on with it. It doesn't make it hard to see the price action, but it just kind of makes the chart much more noisy, and I prefer to keep a much cleaner looking chart when possible. So that's kind of the idea here, is create alerts, and then I can even just keep the indicator turned off. And now I'm just going to get an alert anytime price gets super extended on SPY over the next 100 days. Let's check out these SDW picks. MMM. I'm going to go back to just standard candles for a little bit. MMM looks pretty bad. Back to the COVID lows. Interesting. So this is your level that you want to see hold. Where are we at with like some basics? 200 SMA, way above. 50 SMA, way above. They've got earnings here in a couple of days. 15, like 3 weeks, 2 weeks. I got 2 weeks. Tough place to want to be in a position. You got your 200-week moving average, looks like. It's trying to hold that 200-week moving average. I would probably guess that it doesn't. But, you know, who knows? I don't know enough about Triple M. They had a big run during COVID because they were making masks, of course. Kind of where you would have wanted it to really hold. It failed, and they've come back and tested it right here. So it failed. They came back and tested it, making new lows against last month's low. If you do get a move to the upside, just put an anchored VWAP. Yeah. So I would be kind of like in this world. If you get a move to the upside, I would look at that as an opportunity to get out. 141. Of course, though, I don't know your time frame. You know, tough to say for sure, but that's kind of where my head would be. We haven't made a new low against the COVID lows. Technically, we have not. So, what's up, Mikey? You just got filled RTY long. All right, tight. Let's see. IWM is the equivalent there. Everybody, this is Mike here. Let's see what you like about this, Mikey boy. Per your request, I'm going to take these moving averages off. It's Mikey from Market Traders TV. So you like this, huh? You definitely have this area in here. It's trying to hold in. MA. When does MA, let's see what their earnings, when their earnings is 28th. Yeah, MA, I don't know. For now, holding a higher low. I wonder if banks and what happens with the banks earnings this week. I believe JP Morgan is this week. Goldman Sachs, I think, is this week. I wonder how banks earnings affect MasterCard. Yeah, this one's kind of a tough one. Below anchored VWAP from COVID lows. Interesting kind of thing here. If you're into anchored VWAPs. Previously, 2021, we failed it, we gained it. Failed it, we gained it. Failed it, gained it. We might have broken that cycle here on the 28th of June. Does have the gap above, kind of like the SPY. In my opinion, not much you can really do, or not much I see to do here. Kind of either needs to make a new low or needs to come back and test some of this stuff up here, either this gap or kind of where it failed around 356. That might not happen until earnings. Robert, you're in a swing on MA. What's your trade? What are you thinking? AVGO. I'm going to get to all y'all, I promise. Let me just go to a different time frame here. Yeah, AVGO kind of holding right where it should. Kind of in here. You can see if there's anything that's jiving. Get your anchored VWAP off COVID low, 441. Still doesn't look great. I don't love it. Look at the daily. Yeah, I don't love this. I don't love it long. Kind of broke down these lows, tested them and failed, went lower. Kind of already doing that again. Yeah, I don't know. Up and over 515 or so. Up and over, pull back, then maybe you're onto something. I don't really like it long though. For now, the way it is. Chewy. ARKK, Chewy. Good to see you. ARKK kind of doing like what some of the China names were doing or were looking like. Kind of. Remove all this stuff. It's not really a gap and go, but come back, test the lows, make a new high, or make a higher low, make a new high. And kind of just coming into that spot, same as Baba, same as probably a lot of stuff. So maybe if this thing's gonna stick, maybe you get to move back in here somewhere. 41, 41 and a half. Maybe you got to move back to that. And then a continuation. Kind of be what I'd be looking for. Jas Gill. What's up, Jas Gill? Thank you for being here. How do you scan for TTM Squeeze? Let's talk about it. First of all, TTM Squeeze, we can't call it a TTM Squeeze. Or we don't call them a TTM Squeeze on the platform because TTM is technically a registered trademarked name. That being said, a couple different ways you can do it. Haven't done this in a while, actually. If you type in squeeze in the search bar, you're going to see a handful of different shared scanners. Prices squeezing, squeeze breakdown, squeeze breakout. So what I would say, what are you looking for again? So a TTM squeeze, if you're not familiar, I'm sure you probably are, but for anybody watching that isn't familiar, TTM squeeze has to do with the Bollinger Bands and the Keltner channels. Add those to the chart real quick. Just give you guys the whole breakdown here. There is, in addition, there's a BBKC squeeze indicator. This is a lower indicator. Hangs out at the bottom of the chart. So when we are in a squeeze, what that means is, and correct me if I'm wrong here, because I don't really use squeezes personally, but it means the Bollinger Bands are inside the Keltner channel. So the Bollinger Bands in purple, Keltner channel in yellow. So when the Bollinger Bands are inside the Keltner channel, we are technically in a squeeze. It's a red dot. We are not squeezing when there's a green dot, when the Bollinger Bands are outside of the Keltner channel. Mikey's long, AVGO. So if you want to define that something's in a squeeze, you would want to define that the Bollinger Band is inside the Keltner channel. So we do that using that shared scanner. It says BB low greater than Keltner low. So the bottom of the Bollinger Band is above the bottom of the Keltner channel, and then BB up is less than Keltner up. So the top of the Bollinger Band is under or below the top of the Keltner channel. So you would want to define this, that we're in a squeeze. And then you'd want to define this for however many candles you want it to be. So let's say, for example, I'm sorry, I'm telling you the wrong thing. Oh no, I am telling you the right thing. So if you wanted this to be in a squeeze for, a handful of candles, let's say the current candle, one candle ago, 2 candles ago. We've defined it that it's in a squeeze right now on the current candle. That we define the candle that we're referring to using this last functionality here. When you click on last, it says 0 candles ago. That means it's referring to the current candle. So if we wanted this to refer to 1 candle ago, we wanted it to say, or we wanted to define that it was in a squeeze 1 candle ago, we would just make this a 1, right? And that says that it was in a squeeze 1 candle ago. If we wanted to say it was squeezing 2 candles ago, make it a 2. If you want it to be squeezing now and 1 candle ago and 2 candles ago, you have to duplicate these conditions for every candle that you want it to be squeezing. Does that make sense? Let me know if that doesn't make sense. If it doesn't, I'm happy to talk through it further with you, Jas. You from Lloyd. Guys, I have to apologize. I'm feeling a little bit under the weather today. I'm not 100%, so I'm a little tired. Jas, another thing that you can do if you feel like you need additional assistance with understanding this, you can always sign up for a one-on-one training session with one of our trainers. You can do that by clicking on your name in the top right corner, scrolling down to where it says schedule training. And this is true for anybody who wants to set up one of these training sessions is more than welcome to do so anytime. Click on where it says schedule training and then just select a time that works for you. You'll get about 45 minutes with one of our trainers. They'll be happy to assist you with with any questions that you have. They can talk you through how to write scans. They can talk you through just general platform questions, all that good stuff. These guys are super, super helpful. XLF. Well, we were talking about this on Benzinga earlier. If we go to the monthly, you've got 2007 highs. You've got 2018, 2017 highs. You got 2020 highs. And all of these levels were resistance for many, many years. We broke out February 2021. We're coming right back into them now. So, in theory, kind of what I think, and, you know, open to whatever you guys think. What I think is this has to hold. This $30 level or so. You really want to see this hold. And the banks, I would bet that the earnings coming up are going to help us make that decision, whether this is going to hold or not. So we'll see. You get your anchored VWAP off those COVID lows. It's holding in there right now. If this doesn't hold, I think that'd be pretty problematic. And maybe you'd find yourself back in here, 25 and a half. Something like that. Paul, thanks for being here, by the way, Paul. SQ. What's up with SQ? Got a lot of random lines drawn here. Yeah, I mean, it's must hold area, right? Actually, let me use this. This is the monthly. Going down to the weekly. It doesn't look good. Does not look good. Weekly, I think somewhere in here probably. Let's see what we got on like any moving averages. If there's anything even close. No. Is there anything that looks previous highs? Where's that at? Nope. Does not look good. August 1st earnings. Week of August 1st. August 4th. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want to be long square here. If we could maybe make a high, a new high. If we can get above this and come back and test, then maybe, but meh. Merkit poop in the bed. Yeah, let's go back and check real quick what's going on with the Qs. Yep. Kind of needs to hold this. Otherwise, I imagine new lows in store. But what we got? We got 40 minutes until the end of the day, till the close. Doubt we're going back to the day's high. Don't think that's going to happen. Let's go back to AVGO for Mr. Mikey, if he's still around. Long from 477.65. So kind of in here. Did you buy this retest here? I don't know if Mike's still here, but I would imagine you're not giving it too much wiggle room if you're here, Mikey. JPM, big level headed into earnings. God, JPM looks terrible. It's crazy. Everything looks so bad. Yeah, I mean it is. You're definitely right. Just kind of in here, right? Support throughout the 2018, 2019. Failed below. Had trouble getting above it all through 2020. We've finally gained it, and now we've come back to test where we gained. So, could be a really interesting spot longer term, you know. And they've got earnings this week, I think Friday. Yep, on the 14th. I would not personally touch this until after earnings. But yes, you're correct. You've got that gap to 105. If those earnings are lousy, maybe they come in and they fill it. Wouldn't be a huge surprise. Yeah, James, I always like to start with, you know, the bigger view and kind of see, you know, where are we at? Where have we been? That sort of thing. Kind of stuff you need to know. What do we got on the go no go? The trusty go no go. That is a hard pass. Strong no go. But on the monthly side, it's indecisive. Putting on the raindrop candles here, just kind of see. Yeah, that's about what I expected. Yep, tough to have an opinion here, but you know, just kind of see where it goes. UVXY for Chewy. I don't know. Can't really you can't really chart this. And I do have some lines here. And I guess, let's see. Yeah, I just don't know if you can really chart this because of the way that this instrument is recalculated. Excuse me. If this were just a standard stock, kind of what I'd be looking for is, if you're able to hold here and move higher, I'd be looking for a move somewhere back in here. 16 bucks. But, I mean, again, I don't know if you can really chart it. Y'all see that we added some new indicators to the platform? We hinted about it this morning. Did you guys find them? SPY Q's trying to hold. The lows. SPY already lost him. What else, you guys? Oops. SPY is depressing. Yeah, you know, I mean, that was a rough morning for sure. It's a really strong move back up to the open. Kind of surprised they gave it up. I wasn't anticipating they would do that. I was really thinking they'd hold it. But, you know, we've got CPI on Wednesday, right? So CPI on Wednesday is probably going to be the thing that keeps markets from doing anything for the next 2 days. For the, well, I guess for tomorrow. Worried about Wednesday? Because CPI? What are you worried about? Again, I have to apologize, you guys. I'm a little exhausted and feeling a little under the weather today. So I apologize for my relative lack of energy. Oh, we're getting spam botted. Thoughts on BA? So Delta has earnings today, I believe. Let me just clarify that. I know, no, sorry. Wednesday. Delta does not have earnings today. Delta has earnings Wednesday. BA. So, I mean, what's up, Soothing Sleep Sounds? Are you enjoying the music? This music sounds like your name. Short-term trade, like a day, like an hour, like a week. What's your idea, Paul, for BA? You've got earnings on the 27th. BA, I've never had good luck on BA. Weekly magnitude back to 143. Magnitude, that is a Strat terminology, right? Talk to us about magnitude. How do you gauge it? What's up, Joe? Welcome back. I sure hope not. I sure hope I don't have COVID. I don't think I do. I think I'm just tired. Had a long weekend. I was very busy. DXY. We're going to come back to BA as soon as I hear a little bit more about your idea for this, Paul. Yeah, I mean, the dollar is a monster right now. And when the dollar is strong At least right now, the correlation is that stocks are not. So in order for stocks to go up, we need the dollar to go down. I really thought we were going to get that down move this week. But clearly, we got a nice gap up today. So that did not happen like I thought it was going to happen. Maybe the CPI print on Wednesday will come in cooler than expected. If the CPI print comes in cooler than expected, maybe we can hope for the dollar to cool off, stocks to go back up. All right, so BA, want to take the trade back to last week's high. All right. Talk through this. Last week's high 142.28. Let's look at the daily here. What gets you into this though? You're 2 down on the day. If you were 2 down on, if you took the 2 down, you were targeting here. Right, 134, almost got it. Let's go to a smaller. So you're just kind of playing the range. Mikey's back. Hey, Mikey. Welcome back, Senior. Senior, sir. I don't know. I don't really have an opinion about this. What would be the catalyst? Now, if it were down here, I might be kind of into it. 121, 122. I think that the reason why pineapple on pizza is so good, Mike, is because of the difference of the flavor. You have the tomato sauce, you have the cheese. These are both kind of more sultry flavors. Right, and the pineapple is sweet, and I think that you have that. It's just the it's the flavor combinations that are working in your favor there. Yeah, I don't know about this BA trade. I don't love it, but you know. I'm not going to tell you you're wrong for taking it. That's for sure. You certainly could. Sorry, guys. Good. I am absolutely exhausted. Did you guys have a good weekend? Hopefully you did. Yeah, right, Mike. That's where my head would be at on it. I'd be a little bit more willing to play the downside here than the long side. Let's see, 50 SMA. Yeah, it is. The story is from these terrible earnings. It's also holding the anchored VWAP from the earnings gap down back in April. But Mikey says 0 technical reason to long, and I would agree with him. It would just be guessing here. It would just be assuming, or it would just be, you know, I want it to go up, so I'm going to go long. What's Bitcoin doing? Haven't really looked at this in a sec, or we haven't looked at this today. Yeah, the hopium indicator. We should add that to the platform. Yeah. And Bitcoin doesn't look super great. Ethereum also probably doesn't look super great. Solana looking like the three big dogs in my opinion. Solana also doesn't look great. Let's see, Mikey. So what would you call the low swing, Mike? Would you call it here? Or would you call it in here? Because technically, this is a candle that made the low. So this has all been tested. This is kind of tested here. Mikey, am I doing it right? In here? Mike is the man. If you guys are interested in learning about price action, Mike is a great person to learn from. Or Mike, are you even just talking about like this? Because this is kind of tested, kind of. But this to me isn't. But let me know if I got that right or if I don't have that right. I'd love to be told the correct way. The daily low swing. So then you're talking about in here? $19,350 is the must hold. Ish. Right. David Yoakum, you need full port. What to do? David, I mean, if you really want to be a cowboy, go long into the Qs or SPY with Wednesday expiration. And look for a move back into 305, 304. and you do that with the idea that they're going to come in lower than expected CPI print. This is the cowboy stuff. Well, I mean, you know, I guess the I'm not giving trading advice here. Don't anybody do this. Please don't do this. Or if you do this, you can do it, but don't do it because I said to do it. Do it because you actually think that's what's going to happen. Qs could still totally come into like 283 tomorrow. Because you made a higher low. You barely made a higher high. Barely on Friday. That's what I want to see, though. I want to see them come out and say that inflation numbers are not as bad as everybody expects. And that will mean that they don't have to cut rates as much. Or increase rates, I'm sorry. But, you know, market doesn't care what I want. Market doesn't care what you want either. Snap. Yeah, you think so, Mikey? Worse than expected. Max hike. All right. Well, there you go. You know how Mikey stands on it. Snap. Can't really do much. Robert, the market does not care about you. You know this. Not much you can really do here with Snap, in my opinion. Just trading in this little range. I mean, unless you want to play the range. Then you could do something. You can maybe like sell out of the money things. Mike, it's our responsibility to will these things into existence. It's our job to come with positive, the opposite of doom and gloom mindsets. Now, we don't know what's going to happen. But on Snap, yeah, you're in this range. And what can you really do here? You know, there's not a ton you can do here outside of, in my opinion, outside of like selling calls, selling puts, and playing it staying in this tight range. You've got earnings on the 21st. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, you got earnings on the 21st. Maybe you get some sort of information then. And you could talk about either coming in and filling up some of this gap or talking about the next leg lower. On the monthly time frame, doesn't look good. It doesn't look very good. Just for the heck of it, I'm curious where our average buyer from IPO is, and they own this thing at $25. So your average buyer from the IPO is down almost 50% on this trade. They will be sellers if price gets back up there. Mikey just took a loss on the RTY long. Yes, you will, Mike. You will tomorrow. So Mike would refer to this point right here as the trend start. You have your low that took you up to your high here. That's not the right tool. Right, you have this move, and this is essentially the price that took you all the way up to the highs. We've come back, we tried to hold it, and we failed, and now we're finding it to be almost perfect resistance. I would say that's not very good, and that if you want to be a bull on this name, you really need to see price get up and over and come back and retest. So my expectation on Snap would be lower. And I'd actually be looking there. $6.67. But will it get there? Who knows? I don't know. guess actually this
Stop
level
filled.
too. 1040 might be a spot if it continues lower, then it might find a little bit of a bounce. I mean, chart is broken and has been for some time. You have this huge gap down in October of 2021, and it has just performed absolutely miserably. I can understand maybe why you're interested in get into it. It starts feeling like value at some point, but I think there's quite a bit of downside left. If they come out with terrible earnings, this thing could gap down again. So I would be looking for, before getting into any trade long on this thing, I'd be looking for a move above all of this stuff, these highs here. Looking for a move above and then a pullback to them to see if they can even act as support. Lil Caney. Lil Caney, I've never seen your name here. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. How are you doing today? Where are you tuning in from? Never heard back from you guys if you had discovered the new indicators. So I'll show you. It's in the other data button. Click the 3 dots. Dark pool volume. Fear and greed index for crypto. This is specifically just for Bitcoin. But it is kind of interesting to see how the market feels about Bitcoin. So you guys are probably familiar with fear and greed index. You have extreme fear, extreme greed, and then everything in between. So this kind of marks it up the same way. You have extreme fear down here in the dark red, or in the light red actually, and then fear in the red, neutral in the white, greed in the dark green, and extreme greed in the light green. It's kind of an interesting sentiment indicator. If we go back, let me go to a different time frame here. Oh, it's only available on the daily. Last time we saw these levels on Bitcoin. Kind of weird to look at this and look at a snap chart. So let's look at the Bitcoin chart. Last time we saw these levels, May of 2021. Well, actually, I guess January 2022 as well. Starting to curl up a little bit though. So that's one new one. And then the dark pool volume. US equity dark pool volume. Do note, this is 3 to 5 weeks delayed. Add it real quick. Ooh, that's a weird color. Let me change the colors. I changed the color earlier and it looks a little odd. So let me change it back. There we go. So this gives us an idea of how much of the volume is dark pool volume. Again, it is delayed. 50 line, of course, means 50% of the volume is dark pool volume. So on Apple, up to just a couple weeks ago even, dark pool volume at 45%. Dark pool volume on the June 13th on this, like on the recent lows, 44%. Kind of would expect that to be a little higher. Like if these were the lows, the low lows. Shy, what's up, Shy? Thanks for being here. Labu, what's up with Labu? Ooh, yikes. Let me go to a daily. So you can see I did have some things drawn here. Decent little base. Made a lower low here. Couldn't really hold that low. And now we're starting to kind of ramp things up a little bit. Made a new high here. Made a higher low here. Made new highs past 4 sessions. And kind of pausing here at these previous highs. The May 4th high. Next stop I'd be looking at if we can get above this $10 level. Kind of looking in the $13 range. We can see if that jives with any indicators. Always do some anchored VWAPs. Your anchored VWAP from the November 8th high coming in at 12 bucks, 12.08. On the shorter time frame, I'm going to turn off these moving averages real quick. Always do the anchored VWAP handoff where it is appropriate. The handoff meaning we anchor a VWAP, we look for where price comes back and makes a continuation move, we re-anchor. So that's what I've done here. I mean, we definitely could see a move back into this 830 level. That would make sense. Why would that make sense? Because what would it mean that they did? It would mean that they came in here and took out all the stops below these lows, kind of the July 6th lows. Could definitely see them doing that. You figure there's a lot of people who have stops below these lows. You can see price come down, wick through this, and then try and make a move higher. Did we make a higher high recently? Ever so slightly higher high. Same thing here. You could see it on this low. See how they broke down and they came right through this low here where there were probably a lot of stops. They wick down into it and then they bounce back. So not really the look that you want to see if you're long. You would have wanted to see this regained and pushed higher. So they failed it. So probably going to come down here. They could even come down here. 7.5, 7.6. Hard to know exactly where they'll go. What's up, Daniel Magnuson? Good to see you again, man. How was your weekend? You doing well today? You're welcome, Shy. No problem at all. Tons of dark pool volume in June. That's pretty interesting. What about, what do you say, Amazon and Meta? Interesting. And like I said, this is like kind of the must-hold spot for Facebook. Really kind of needs to hold all this. It's 155 to 160. If it does not hold that, this thing is in for a world of pain, I would imagine. We're going to find out real soon, too. They got earnings on the 27th, so a couple weeks. Lil Caney, you're very welcome. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it. Like I said, I've never seen you here before, so glad you're here. You're in LA? Right on. How's LA doing today? Probably warm, sunny. Daniel Magnuson, arranging swim competition all day. Nice. I hope you win. When's the competition? With a name like Magnuson, I would anticipate you being from somewhere around there. Where in Sweden? One of my favorite bands in the whole wide world is a Swedish band. I don't understand a word that they're saying, but I love their music. Jake Milligan, what's up, buddy? Nice to meet you. Another new name. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it. I've been trading since 2017. I believe 2017. I would say the first couple of years of trading, I don't even know if you would call what I was doing trading. Stockholm, the home of Spotify, right? I'm a big fan of Dunyan. Well, so I don't know if they pronounce it Dungin. I've heard them pronounce it Dungin. I've also heard people pronounce it Dunyan. Here, I'll type it here. D-U-N-G-E-N. Are you familiar with them? They're a psychedelic rock band. Jake, I appreciate that. How long have you been trading? What are you trading right now? Are you watching anything today in particular? Let's see, market's about to close. What the Qs do? Qs coming in low of day, I believe. Yep. So they failed that level. That's all right, Daniel. Check them out. They're very good. The records sound incredible. I'm really into interesting sounding records. Doesn't necessarily have to be a genre, but I really, really like interesting sounding records. And Dunyan has a way of making really interesting sounding records. Lil Caney, how long did it take for you to become a profitable trader? What was the turning point? What was the turning point? I mean, I kind of have had multiple turning points and then give it all backs, and then turning points and then give it all backs. I think though the thing that I've found with trading is every time historically that I've wanted to give up, that's been like a good sign for me that things are about to turn around. And when I say give up, I mean like really give up. One big turning point obviously was starting to work at TrendSpider. Being able to stare at charts all day, and it be my job where all I did all day was talk to customers about trading. I got to siphon off a lot of interesting information from a lot of interesting people. Making it my focus kind of is, I think probably the biggest turning point was when I made it my career. Now, being a trader proper is not my career. My career is working at TrendSpider, helping educate people how to use the platform. So I would consider myself still in the process of becoming. I think we're all still in the process of becoming. I think anytime I've ever felt like I got this figured out is when I've gotten hit, and every time I felt like I wanted to give up and kept going is when I had a turning point and I figured something new out. Mike, the fella who was in our chat, I don't know if he's still here. He's taught me a ton. So meeting him and learning from him was a turning point. Sigor Rose. That's a blast from the past. We did not make a new low on the Qs. They tried. Excuse me. So little Caney, if you're struggling, I want to tell you to don't give up. Don't give up. Take smaller size. Take more specific trades. You know, really work on your process. Paper trade. If you've, you know, I think paper trading can be really, really helpful. Some people disagree. If you treat your paper trading like your real trading, I think it can be super, super helpful. What the spies end up doing. SPY did make a new low. And it was the stronger one today, too. VWAP up 20% today. Wild. Huge volume on that name today. I guess this is just because of Twitter, right? Elon pulling out of Twitter. Right on. Options here and there. Nothing serious. Let's see if there's anything going on today earnings-wise. So I'm just going to scan real quick. You can scan for earnings. So let's say earnings today. Just curious if there's anything. And I'm just going to scan through a couple of different lists here while we're hanging. PCYO has earnings or had earnings. VOXX, PSMT. I don't know. Well, actually, I know VOXX. I've traded VOXX before. Some time ago. Don't know what time their earnings were. I'm going to check and see on the NICE list. AZZ. Looks like a gap up, so they probably had earnings this morning. E2. GBX. What about within the next day? Always good to know what's coming up earnings wise. You could scan for it. You could have it turned on your chart here. I oftentimes will have it turned on my chart via this button right here. And you can see there the orange lines on the chart. Let's look at small caps. ANGO. It's up tomorrow. I believe the banks are on Friday. Just seeing if there's anything with earnings today on the Russell. It's moving a little slowly. Really, it's all about that CPI print, though. Wednesday is going to be a big day. We can expect lots of volatility on Wednesday. Yeah, so GBX, the only name is coming up. Here we go. PSMT. We already saw E2. E2 open. Never even heard of it. AZZ, PCYO. Nothing really interesting out there. Let's see. Within the next, today's what, Monday? So 4 days. Maybe I'll try and start streaming a little bit earlier on Wednesday. Because I believe the CPI print is in the morning. I kind of think it's before market open. Trading bots. Sure. Love to. So the way that trading bots work, they are created off of scripts. Scripts are, you know, if you're familiar with the platform, you're utilizing scripts in the market scanner. When you write something out, if you want to say you want to scan for a stock greater than $10, price, daily close, greater than a constant value of $10, right? So this is a condition within the scanner. We could turn this into a script, right? We can go to script actions. We could say save as template. We could say, oops, price greater than $10. Say save. So now we've got this script called price greater than $10, right? And I can take that script and I can use it all over the platform. I could be alerted on this condition on a name. I can back test it and so on. Within the strategy tester, obviously a bot has two sides. It has something that's going to open the trade, has a signal long and then a signal close, or a signal short and then a signal close. Something gets you into the trade, something gets you out. So let's say we want to buy indicator. So we want to buy when a particular moving average crosses up on another moving average, right? Yeah, so like that. Let's say the 512 EMA. So we would say exponential moving average crossed up on indicator, exponential moving average. Click here and we can change this length to 5. Click here and change this length to 12. So now you're buying when the 5 crosses up on the 12. You could go and you could define other things too. Like generally, when it comes to moving average crosses, it's kind of safer to buy them if price is also above them. You know, for the 5 and 12 to cross up is one thing. For price to be above it when that happens is additional strength. So usually I like to define that too. So I'll say price close greater than indicator exponential and make this the 5. Because if the 5 is above the 12, then you just need price to be above the 5, because if it is, then it's also above the 12, right? So this is your entry, the 5 crossing up on the 12 and price is above the 5. Now you need an exit. So let's say we add script and we could exit I'm going to say on one of two conditions. We could exit either when the 5 crosses down. I'm just giving you guys some examples. Cross down on indicator exponential. Change this to 5. If I'm going too fast, just let me know. Change that to 12. So now you're gonna get out of this trade when the 5 crosses down on the 12. I'm also gonna add in here price close less than indicator exponential and make this the 12. And I'm even going to make it any of the following. Okay, sure. Yeah, I mean, you could do this, whatever. Exit on the 34.50. So 34 crossing down on 50. Is that right? Indicator exponential. Cross down on indicator exponential. Change the length here to 34. Change the length here to 50. And in this scenario, I would also say price close less than indicator exponential 50. And I would change this to any of the following. So that you're either going to exit when the 34 crosses down on the 50 or price closes below the 50. This close below the 50 might get you out before it's time, but you know, it's maybe also like a safeguard. So now you've got your entry. Now you've got your exit. You could say run. It's of course going to test on whatever name you have up. Just this random name that has earnings today. And when you run it, you have this option that says launch as trading bot. So what I would say here, I would title this 512 cross up. We'll call it bullish. It's selecting, actually, before I do this, let me do this real quick. Let me call this 512 cross up bullish. And save it. So now that I've saved it, it's saved over here in my shared strategies. And the reason why I do this is just so that, you know, if I want to back test it on a bunch of names, that way I don't have to rewrite these conditions out anymore. It's just there. So yeah, so launch this trading bot. We'll call this 512 cross up bullish. Choose your time frame for it. Choose how you want to be notified when you exit or enter into a position. This webhook piece is the piece that is a little bit trickier. This is how you would send these signals out and about to wherever you want to send them to. So I'm going to direct you here for that. If you go to TrendSpider.com, go to the blog, type in the search, type in trading bots. Actually, you know what? So I'll send you here first, and let me just link you this so that you have it. Ooh, stop, sir. Here you go. There's the video. And then there's also I'm going to close out of this real quick. Go to documentation. So if you click on your name, top right corner, scroll down to documentation. Type in trading bots. Now, this article is pretty extensive, but it walks through the entire process. So the part about sending the orders, let's see where that is here. It's kind of through here. I'm just going to link you to this too. So this will talk you through that process of the webhooks. You can reference, here's all of your reference like help articles for connecting with different tools, whether it be Slack, Alertatron, Discord, Traders Post, Signal Stack, Zapier, IFTTT, and so on. Once you've got that set up, you have your critical or verbose control notifications. This explains control notification give you insights into the bot's behavior. Critical only, you will only be notified in case important events like starting or stopping the bot occur. Verbose is just, and there's a breakdown of verbose in that link that I sent you. So you can read through that. And then you have the behavior settings. When started in a position, you can generate the first entry after the next exit, or you can generate an entry signal immediately. So for example, if we wanted to go long here on PCYO on a 512 cross up, and the 5 and the 12 was crossed up already, price was above them. If you chose to generate entry signal immediately, it would put you into a trade. If you were sending this off to your broker, it would put you into a trade instantly. If you were sending this off to your friends in Discord, it would send an alert to them instantly. That may not be what you want, though, right? It wouldn't really make sense to do this. It would make more sense to generate the first entry after the next exit, right? Let the exit happen, and then the next time they cross up, you get the entry signal. So that would be how I would that's kind of a very simple breakdown. Again, you can use these for alerts. You can use them for like sending an alert to whatever channels you want to send them to. You can use them for trading bots, like literally for exiting trades. If you need an even more detailed handheld walkthrough, sign up for a one-on-one. Once you get up and running, sign up for a one-on-one. And just sit down with one of our educators, because then they could really kind of like hold your hand through, you know, each little bit of the process. Nice swing trading strategy daily weeks. I don't. I do not swing trade especially right now. It's just not easy to do. So unfortunately, I don't have something for you that I could just give you in that regard. I think what I would do is I would play around with this idea that you've got here and just kind of see how it tends to perform. I know that these moving average crossovers, if you play them close to the hip, you could do okay in them. I had done, let me show you this. Go back to that blog. This is, you can take any of these ideas from this blog. Let me see if I can find it. This one. So this is all day trade ideas. But try increasing the time frames here. Like instead of using the 15-minute time frame is what I use for everything on this blog, try using a daily and play around with it and see. You can import all of these scanners. Okay, cool. Right on. That at least give you a, you know, a little bit of a start. The trick though is to back test. You know, different names perform differently. Different names react differently to different indicators. One name may really nicely track the 8 and the 21 SMA. Other names may really nicely track the 9 and the 21. You know, it's like just playing around with those different things, I think is interesting. Actually. Yeah, I think in the blog I used 821. That's Scott Redler's. Those are the ones that he uses. Any new tickers start trading on major exchange today? I don't know. I'm just searching for names with news of new IPO today. See if anything comes up. Robert, I agree with you on that. Yeah, and Daniel, you could add that as a condition. Right? You could say daily price close greater than indicator daily simple moving average 200. Back testing a dynamic watch list that tracks new tickers. You were doing that on TrendSpider? Yeah, Daniel, as far as the 200, That is definitely a benchmark that a lot of traders use. Oh, on TOS. Gotcha, NASCAR. Yeah, we don't have any tool specifically designed to track IPOs. So what I would do for that is I would just search. Excuse me. I would search IPO in the news, and then just check the major indices. All right, check NYC. These came up the other day too. G-Sun is not brand new, but a couple weeks old. SY, oh, no, not SY. Yeah, the only thing that came up that kind of meets the idea is G-Sun. And I believe that we talked about G-Sun last week too. Nice, NASCAR. Good for you, man. $8,500 is not anything to scoff at. That's fantastic. Good job. All right, so we're coming into the last few minutes of the stream here. Anything anybody wanted to take a look at before we get out of here? We could back test something. We could scan for something. CRK, David Yoakum. Comstock Resources. Well, we saw this, I'm sure. Let me do this. Ooh. Sometimes it's just easier to see things on a bigger time frame. If you're ever unsure, Dave, about kind of like what's the right place to be drawing some stuff. Yeah, so like on the longer term, you've got that 1470 level that could be a little problematic, and it might be in here at 15 and a quarter. Like just somewhere in here is probably going to be problematic. Anchored VWAP off the high kind of says that too, right? Anchored VWAP off the high is at 14.7. And then on the even near term, you have this. So now we can go down to a bit smaller of a time frame. Yeah, so what did they do? They filled this little gap here today. You've got a little gap right here, kind of all coinciding with that same area, 14.7 or so. Somewhere in here, if this thing is able to keep gaining, that would be a first level I'd be watching as a take profit. Let me go back. Yeah, I mean that's where my head would be at. I would be looking for a move back into like almost $15. You've already gone for our strat, folks. You've already gone 2 up on the week. You could use, oh no, the strat. I'm not sure exactly how the strat would do this. We're gonna be hanging out with Sarah soon, doing a live charting show with Sarah. But you could use last week's high as your kind of line in the sand. They got above it and came back to it, as you can see here. Yeah, it looks like they first candle of the day they ran it and then pulled it back. They held these lows here around like 12. Might look for a little bit of pullback here, David. Just a little bit. But it doesn't look bad. I don't know what they do. So the strat. So I'm not technically a strat trader. So there are some strat traders in here that might be able to explain it even better than I can. But there are some fundamental things that I do understand about it. The first thing, and we've got the indicator for it, the strat. Type in the strat, add that indicator to your chart. You're going to see something that looks like this. I'm just going to remove all this stuff. See letters and numbers. 2U. You're going to see 2Ds. You're going to see 1s. And you're going to see 3s. Let's see if we can find one. There's a 3. So a 3 is an engulfing candle. Doesn't matter if it's bullish or bearish. It is an engulfing candle. So it fully engulfs the previous day's candle or previous time frame. The candle that came before it fully engulfs it. A 1 is an inside candle, meaning the price action is completely contained within the previous day's candle. A 2D means that we took out the low of the previous day. So for example, this candle is a 2D because we traded below this candle's low. 2U is the opposite of that. A 2U is when we gain the previous day's high. From there, now that you know the 3 candle style, well, technically it's 4 candle styles, but I kind of count 2D and 2U as the same thing, just in opposite directions. This is how they gauge, this is how a strat trader would gauge what trade to take. If you have a 3 candle, I believe, generally speaking, when you have a 3, what you kind of are looking for, well, and again, any strat traders in here want to correct me on this, totally fine. But like with a 3, I'm kind of always looking for the 1 to come after the 3. You have this big candle that takes out both sides of the range. This isn't actually even a 3. Hold on. There's you a 3. You have a big candle, takes out both sides of the range. Me personally, I always want to see price kind of consolidate within that candle. And then you can make a move based off of what happens after that consolidation. There are a lot of different setups though. So this would be a 3-2 down. This is like a continuation down pattern. When you have a 1 candle, and really with all these strat patterns, I believe, you're looking at a trade based off of what price does next. So you have this 1 candle. Does price break to the downside or to the upside? Some traders are going to take the trade instantly when it trades down or trades up. Other traders look for different confirmations. But what they're usually targeting, as far as I understand it, are the previous day's highs and lows. So like if you were going to take a long trade off of this break, which never came, mind you, it went down, but had it broke up, you would have been looking for this high as your first target, right? And on the breakdown, you're looking for this low as your first target. Now, what you do when you gap down like this, that might be a better question for a proper strat trader, because I don't really know in that scenario. Maybe you look for the test back in to the previous low, or test back into the previous high, depending on how it breaks. And, you know, this is another thing too, is you could test this, right? If you wanted to, you could say candlestick pattern. We're going to go outside bar, one candle ago. We're going to say, oops, condition, candlestick pattern. We're going to say inside bar on the current candle. And we're going to get out after, let's say, 2 candles. So we went outside, then we went inside today. What historically happens, let's say, on SPY when that happens? Let me test back here. So over the past 27 years, you had an outside day followed by an inside day 137 times on the SPY. And your return 2 days later, after that happens, you net a gain of almost 19%. Of course, it doesn't come anywhere close to the performance of the asset. We're not trying to beat the asset in this case. We're just curious to know what happens after you have this 3-1 setup. Your win rate, 60%. 82 of the times you have a winning trade. Your average return is 0.13%. You could add other things to this, though, you know, to give this more strength. Price above certain moving averages. Price, you know, whatever. You could say all kinds of different things. Define whatever you need to. You could, of course, change your exit condition too. You know, I'll add a number of candles have passed when I really want to just know, like, what does the next day tend to be like? If you have a 3-1 setup on the SPY, what tends to occur after a 3-1 setup? And you can go back and you can look. Right? Here's your 3. Here's your 1. We got a 3 down. Or we got a 3. And it closed pretty much near low a day. Go back and look here. Here's your 3. Here's your 1. We had another 3. It's not the same every time. Here's a 3. Here's a 1. You had a 2 up. Here's a 3, 1, 2. Well, it went 2 down. So maybe, you know, if you look through enough of these, you start seeing some sort of commonality. Here's your 3. Here's your 1. You had a 2 up. Here's your 3, 1, and then you had a 3. Another 3, 1. You have a 2 up. But if you really want to know more about the strat, I would say to follow some of the good folks on Twitter who are strat pros. Sarah Strat Sniper. Rob Smith. He's the guy who came up with this style. Sure thing, Daniel. No problem at all. Jake, I go live Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I unfortunately will not be able to be live this Friday. I have a funeral to attend. But generally, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Monday and Wednesday, 2:30 Eastern till 4:30 Eastern. Fridays, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern. Volume shelves, and then we're going to get out of here. Just going to remove some stuff real quick. Okay, so volume shelves, I think, are best used, of course, per the time frame that you're trading, whatever time frame that happens to be. You want to know, I'm using them just to see where the buyers are, right? Let me change this color so we could see it a little bit better. Oops, that didn't change it. That's why. So generally what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure from relative lows or relative highs per the time frame that I'm most interested in. So if, you know, if I'm looking kind of longer term, COVID low anchored VWAP makes a lot of sense to me as a spot to measure from. And I'm specifically, change this. I like to have it at 50 columns. Everybody's different with that. But I like kind of the more granular breakdown. So that's why I have it at 50 columns. So I am specifically looking at that VWAP. Where's the VWAP from those lows? We can see we're trading right in and around it right now. Where's the POC? That's the point of control. That's where the most volume at price has occurred. So from the COVID lows, we have more buyers at 440.57 or so on SPY than any other price point from 220, 217, all the way up to 480 and change. The most volume occurred at this 440 level. That's going to be a really, really important level one day. Where exactly, or rather when exactly that becomes a level, you know, who knows? That could be years from now. Could take a lot of time. So I always kind of work my way out, or I work out and then in. So that's my bigger time frame. I know that my volume weighted average price, which is really important, my anchored VWAP is at 384, right where we're trading right now. We're just trying to hold that anchored VWAP. Seen a different way, it looks like this. This is the anchored VWAP from that same point. The next kind of thing that I'll do is you always want to know where the big stuff is. The next thing you do, or the next thing that I tend to do, is look at smaller time frames. So since this is in a downtrend, I'm always going to be looking at relative highs per the downtrend. So it could be all-time highs. I know that my average buyer from the all-time high, I was just saying 441, same as from the low, same as from the COVID low. But I also know that my VWAP from that high is at 424.89. To me, that's a price that's a little bit out of reach. So I'm going to go to this next high, and then we get something a little bit closer to what might be interesting. Point of control at 412.81, VWAP at 408.69. If we're able to make a move higher, I'm not saying that we're going to, but maybe we get some inflation numbers that are a little bit cooler than expected. I don't know. If we do, and we start pushing higher from here, this is going to be a level of interest for us, right? Somewhere between 408 and 412, 413. Because this is where the most volume at price has occurred from the March 28th highs. This is where our average buyer owns the stock from since the March 28th highs. On a smaller time frame, we can go down to a 15-minute. From a 15-minute, we are, you know, debatable whether we're in an uptrend or a downtrend right now on the 15-minute time frame. We are making some higher lows. We did make a lower high, though. So I'm going to start from the near-term lows, June 17th, and we have a VWAP at 380.43. Could act as an interesting level of support at some point. It did actually right here on the 6th. Acted as nice support. And then you've got your POC at 375.62. So what I would be doing is I would be looking specifically at two unique things. My POC in this instance, my POC would kind of represent my real line in the sand. If price finds its way down below 375, I might be looking for the next leg lower. VWAP, you know, I tested it once and it held it. You would want it to hold it again if it tested it. So you could use your VWAP here as a potential first line in the sand. You know, if price is able to get below that VWAP, then we want to see what happens. If it trades below it, maybe it comes down into this point of control. You'd want to see that point of control hold. If price fails below that point of control, then maybe you have some issues to worry about. So you hopefully this is making sense. Depending on the direction of price, I'm going to measure from the high or the low. So if price is kind of moving higher, I'm going to measure from a low. If price is moving lower, I'm going to measure from a high. And really, I'm just kind of looking to see where those VWAP and the POC is. POC is going to give me my biggest volume node, because that's where the most volume at price has occurred. Price has a tendency to like to move swiftly through areas where there is not volume. Doesn't mean that it will, but it can. I've also seen those areas hold. So, don't expect that just because price is coming up to an area where there isn't as much volume, that price is just going to push right through it. It can, but it can also pause there. So that's why I kind of tend to focus more so on the VWAP and the POC. But we do have a big volume node up here. Price comes into this. It could be a little slow getting through it, but it just all depends on what is the reason why price is pushing into that area. Is price just naturally slowly grinding into this area, or was there good market news and price pushed really hard through this area? It just depends. Does that help, Caney? Robert, I appreciate you, man. I'm already feeling a little bit better. I need to just drink more water, I think, is what it boils down to. Awesome. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to jump out of here. I do very, very much appreciate everybody coming and hanging out with me today. It means so much. You guys could have spent your afternoon hanging out with anybody, but you're hanging out with me, and I appreciate it. So thank you. Tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern time, we're going to be on Twitter Spaces, talking with a handful of traders, going through some trade ideas for this week. Let me see if I can get the list of folks that we are hanging out with tomorrow. Give me 1 second. I can't find the list. I'm sorry, guys. Oh, maybe I'm about to find out. No, I'm not sure. But if you're interested in some trade ideas, we're going to be hanging out in Twitter Spaces tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. I will be back here on Wednesday at, tomorrow, PB Investing, Gene Crouppens, cool, Options Mike, and Scott Redler. Dang, banger cast tomorrow. For the trade ideas space. So you probably want to tune in. That's a pretty cool group of people. Again, PB Investing, Gene Crouppens, Greg Crouppens. He's at G Crouppens on Twitter. Options Mike and Scott Redler, the Red Dog. So that's tomorrow on Twitter, 8 p.m. Eastern. Wednesday, 2:30 Eastern to 4:30 Eastern, I'm going to be here streaming. I may start a little bit earlier on Wednesday since we've got CPI numbers. If I do, I'll let folks know. Please give me a follow on Twitter, and I will let you guys know if I start early. That's at Krutzky Trades. Thursday night, we're hanging out with, I believe, Sarah Strat Sniper. Sadie. That's right? My colleague Sadie is giving me the down low on my schedule for the week. Yeah. So yeah, we're going to hang out with Sarah Strat Sniper. She's going to be answering all questions Strat related. She's going to be taking your chart requests. So that'll be super fun. She's such a awesome person to hang out with and to pick the brain of. So come with your trade, or come with your ticker requests on Thursday evening. Again, that's 8 p.m. Eastern, Thursday evening. And then again, Friday, I'm going to be out. I'm going to be out for the day, unfortunately, but I'll be back next Monday. So that is my schedule for the week. Again, thank you all so much for being here. Yeah, okay, so the shows get a break next week, and then and then we've got Jake, old Jake Wujastic, the man with the master plan. He's coming on the Chart Request show, on the live charting show on the 28th. So that is it for me, you guys. Again, thank you all so much for being here. Some new folks here today. Little Caney, you're new. Who else was new today? I'm just scrolling up. Cajun, I don't know if I ever said hello to you, but Cajun, good to see you. Shy was new, so thank you for being here, Shy. Appreciate it. Just good to have everybody on. It really means a lot. Soothing Sleep Sounds. Haven't seen you here before, so thanks for being here. Yeah, means a lot. Really do appreciate it. Can't wait to chat with you all again on Wednesday. So yeah, have a good rest of your day. Trade them well. Be responsible. And let's talk again on Wednesday. All right, cool. See you guys next time. Have a good one.